This is the beast of nature, the freak, Rob Terry.
I'm Johnny Spade, the new Ohio Valley heavyweight champion with the pretty new belt around my waist.
Hi, I'm OVW official Josh Ashcraft.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at Triple Threat Talk. I'm Dean Hill.
This is Ricky Chevy, and I'm the blue-collar millionaire.
I'm Mr. Peck. God, that's great every time. Spectacular.
We're the Bronis Brothers.
I am the One Girl Revolution, Taylor Hendricks.
This is Brandon Espinoza.
I'm the assassin.
I'm Bruno Raul Limata.
I'm James Moose Thomas.
I'm Shiloh Jones.
My name is Ron Head. I'm the announcer for OVW.
I'm Jamin Olivencia.
I'm Alex Silva. I'm Rocco Bellagio.
I'm Terry Bodie, the Ohio Valley Wrestling fan advocate.
Raphael Constantine. I'm Rand Perez. My name's Muhammad Ali. Baez.
I'm Paradise.
This is Ohio Valley Wrestling. Referee Chris Sharp.
This is Sexy Sean Casey. I'm Chris Silvio.
This is Michael Hayes. This is Jason Wayne.
And you're watching Triple Threat Talk.
To episode 66 of Triple Threat Talk.
And this episode?
No, I think we added another six.
Another six.
That'll be a while.
We'll make it.
That'll be a while.
Maybe.
I hope so.
We'll see.
That's like, that's a long time from now.
It is a very long time.
I mean, it took Raw how long to get to 1,000?
15 years.
I can only imagine 666 episodes.
But see, we're not going to be postponed by the Westminster Dog Show. So that's where the difference is.
Ah.
Yeah, see what I did there?
The dog show is epic.
Yeah.
The dog show is not epic, but I tell you what is epic is viewer questions.
Wow. Nice transition. I liked it.
Yes. From Against All Odds 20. What are your thoughts on a create a title returning in WWE 13?
I like it. I don't think they've done it since SmackDown vs. Raw 08. The one thing I don't really care about with created titles is there's some limitations with it and some things you can and can't do. I mean, the one thing, you really can't help this. It's what it is that when they come out, this belt's for a custom championship, and that's how the game's announcing it. But I like to see more innovation with the belt. Maybe some more things they add on or whatever. PostMaster Jones just threw his pen because it doesn't work. So, the Creative Championship is a good feature to have back in the game. I think a lot of people liked it so they can, do their own custom stuff. So,
yeah, it was pretty good. Really, it's not really too big of a deal, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it, but I like it.
Well, if we were still doing DWA, it'd be good because you could create a really cool DWA title, but obviously that doesn't work anymore. But other than that,
without a pen.
Oh well, it wasn't right. I can't help it. I'm sorry.
Right.
Also, from Against All Odds 20, what are your thoughts on Wade Barrett's return? I thought it was disappointing, and I think his new gimmick is horrible.
As far as his return, it was sort of lackluster, I thought. He's been fighting Yoshitatsu over in Japan for the past couple months to get back into the ring. I don't think he's 100% yet. It's probably put him against someone like Yoshitatsu, not going back in there against someone more established like a main event or a mid Carter. His new gimmick, I guess it's somewhat okay because that's what he was. He's like as the bare knuckle brawler. It's what he is being billed with the vignettes and stuff like that. I do prefer the waistline finisher to the other one. If that's his new finisher, I'm not a big fan of it. Like the turning elbow, I guess if that's what they're kind of building towards, it's okay, whatever. But I did like the thing he said when he was done. Wade Barrett's open for business, which I like. It means he's taking on all challenges, which I like to see that from Wade when he comes back. So we'll have to see what transpires with Wade Barrett in the next couple weeks. See if he gets pushed more towards title pictures because he was supposed to win the title beforehand before he left. So we'll see what happens with Wade Barrett in the coming weeks.
I definitely thought it was cool. It's definitely good to see Wade back in the ring. Obviously, I'm going to say that. I don't know what you're talking about. His new gimmick is disappointing. It was like they've been building towards it. Even when he was the leader of the Nexus and all that stuff, he was kind of still, he'd incorporate being the bare knuckle brawler champion. So It's kind of been leading to this. I think it suits him better. I do prefer the Wasteland because the Wasteland is just cool to say.
Yeah.
Wasteland.
We don't always call this one, so
hopefully it's not elbow to the chin.
It's the bionic elbow.
Other than that, I like it.
I mean, I'm glad to see him back. Like he said, they always used to bring him back against somebody lower
to get his feet wet,
and to get him some victories under his belt, easy victories. And his new gimmick, I mean, he's from England, and England is known for fight clubs and like brawling, so it works. So.
I'll say this: he's the only reason I tuned into SmackDown at all.
Yeah. So, from the Buckin' Five, what are your top 5 moments in sports history? Wowzer! I can think of one. And well, I mean, we can kind of do this back and forth, you know. I can think of one right off the top of my head, and that would be Secretariat in the Belmont.
Yeah, I could see. Well, not only that, Secretariat winning the crown. All in all, I think Zenyatta, also in sports racing, Zenyatta's final race. So when she ultimately went 19-1, but there was a lot of emotion in that race. I definitely think that was.
I think for me, a memory that sticks out pretty much is Rams tying Super Bowl where Kenny Dyson was 1 yard short. That's a pretty definitive memory I remember because they were 1 yard short of winning or tying the game.
Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier.
Ali and Frazier.
Picture,
Ali and Foreman in the Thriller.
Why could Ali?
Yeah.
Ali.
There's a lot of good stuff. I mean, you could go through. You could.
Kentucky's '96 championship team. Many people think is the best basketball team ever assembled.
That shot Jordan made to beat Cleveland in the finals. I would think that's a good one.
When Joe Willie White Shoes called his shots against the Baltimore Colts when the Jets beat the Colts in the Super Bowl. That's another one that sticks out.
Personally, for me, when Roger Federer broke Pete Sampson's all-time Grand Slam record, pretty much cementing himself as the greatest tennis player ever lived.
95 Super Bowl. With the Niners. The Niners taking it down for the last time with Steve Young and Jerry Rice.
John Elway winning back-to-back Super Bowls before he retires. Going out.
There's a lot. We
can sit here and go real night.
Welcome to the Triple Threat Talk Sports Moments special.
Yeah, exactly. Mr. Postmaster.
I see how it is just towards you.
Yes. Who do you think is the greatest NASCAR driver that never won a championship?
Wee doggy.
That is a loaded question if I've never heard one. But I have an answer, and that answer would have to be Mark Martin.
Care to elaborate?
Mr. Viagra?
Well, Mark Martin came as far as 2 points short, like on 2 different occasions. He's finished runner-up a couple times, third a couple times. He's always been there, but, he just can't quite finish it off. I think a lot of it is Mark Martin has that mentality of he races too clean. And we all know you got to have a little dirty in you. All of them, you got to have some kind of like dirty in you. And
right.
He's not the type. He's always been the guy. He gives you plenty of room. He won't really knock you out of the way to beat you. He's very courteous on and off the track, whereas most of your champions, they always got some kind of like dirtiness about them or an attitude that, So I think Mark Martin if I had to pick. So. Also from the Buckin' Five, and this is a little far out, but I thought we would delve into it because it is getting closer. Who would you like to see win the 2013 Royal Rumble, and what surprise entrances would you like there to be?
Would like to see win the 2013 Rumble. I just think I think they're building towards it. And I said this to him, and he kind of maybe agreed. I think when I said it was Cody Rhodes. I think they're building towards that because he was an Intercontinental Champion, and he's kind of taken to the wayside a little bit, doing this thing with Sin Cara with the mask, which I think is very, very odd. And then probably come out of nowhere, possibly in the Rumble, because I think he's due for his push, because everyone he thought he should win the Money in the Bank the year before, and then this year he didn't do it.
And I apologize. This question was actually from the CAW interview.
Oh, what did you say?
I stand corrected. I said also from the Buckin' Five. Apologize, CAW.
But surprise entrance. There's always the typical ones like the legends. Yeah. Like seem like possibly people that have 1,000 episodes, or like maybe JBL, or Vader or something like that.
Right.
That's what's so great about the Royal Rumble. There's always a surprise entrance that you never would expect. And like for example, like a year or two ago, Booker T, Kevin Nash, which got a lot of crowd. That's what the crowd likes to see as a surprise entrance.
Diesel.
Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say Cody Rhodes because I just don't think I don't think he's going to be built for the championship. But I think Wade Barrett would probably be up there because, like he said, he was supposed to win it before he went. This would be a great way to put him back on track, put him in front of 30 guys. Since he did miss time, that was not his fault. He was kind of taken out in the line of duty, I guess, and they always tend to reward that a little bit later on, at least for the most part.
Right.
So I think Wade is going to get this one just because of the Big Show incident, and then I think they've talked about Steve Blackman. We've talked about that a couple times. Man, I wouldn't mind seeing Sid Vicious throw a couple guys around for a little bit, but yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
After this year, when it comes to the Royal Rumble, I had given up because you thought everybody. And I mean everybody for sure was like, oh, Chris Jericho's winning.
I can relate it to the year where Randy Orton won. Like everyone knew he was going to win. He did win.
Yeah.
The year he went to WrestleMania 25 there.
This year, everybody swore Chris Jericho was going to win. It was like everybody was picking Jericho. Everybody, oh, Jericho's going to win. Jericho's going to win. And I think WWE was like, okay, everybody thinks Jericho's going to win. Everybody thinks he should win. Well, we're going to throw a curveball into it. Sheamus won. But I like both of your picks. I think if I had to... it would be hard for me to pick one over the other. I can see them both happening. I don't see somebody like a John Cena or somebody like Randy Orton or somebody like that. I don't think they'll win. I like the Wade Barrett pick, and I do like the Cody Rhodes pick. It's kind of hard for me to pick one or the other. I mean, I kind of like them both. You both make valid points for both. You both give a good argument as to why both could win. So, and some surprise entrances. I'd like to see maybe I don't know, Muhammad Ali Vaez or Jamin Olivencia, some of those, Dylan Bostic, some of those guys that you've seen before, but you technically haven't seen before unless you've watched OVW.
Yeah.
And also maybe, like he said, Sid Vicious or maybe, like Vader or somebody like that, because they always throw in some, what I like to call the wheelchair wrestlers.
Well, it's in Phoenix, so maybe some people relative to the area. I don't know.
Right. So, from the DJ Becca show.
Becker.
What do you guys think of Triple H shaving off his ponytail and most of his hair?
You got a haircut. So
no. Actually, this was for charity.
Okay.
He did come out and say, once the picture surfaced, he come out and said, well, listen, I did this for cancer charity. I donated my hair to, cancer for people that, need the hair. So that was actually a cool move by Triple H. I thought it was good of him to do that. Right. And, also non-wrestling related, but another person, Kelly Pickler, country singer, her best friend has cancer.
Right.
And because of that, and to show support of her, she cut all of her hair off too. So it's always cool when people do that because look, I shaved my head and it grows back. Well, I'm just saying, people that have the ability for it to grow back, it's cool that they're willing to do that and make that sacrifice. So for the people that can't. So.
Exactly.
I haven't seen it, so I can't really comment.
Right. Who faces Taker at WrestleMania?
I don't think anybody. I know it's WrestleMania and that's his time, but I can't think of anybody at this point who they could have him face. He's faced Triple H the last two, and he faced Mox the previous two before that, and he faced Edge. They have to have somebody big face him. John Cena's already busy. I don't see
triple threat match.
No, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that for him. They did it before and it was terrible. Between A-Train and the Big Show, it was bad. So, I don't see any. Unless somehow they get Sting. That's the only person I can think of.
I think Chris Jericho could do it.
No, I don't think they do that at WrestleMania.
I mean, he's big enough.
Yeah, that's why I say he could do it. He could make it work.
He's big enough, but
it seems like he might be champion when that's.
I'm trying to think of what would work with him. Because here's the thing, right? The last four Manias, he fought Michaels in an epic encounter.
Yeah.
And the year after that, he fought him with his career on the line. He fought Triple H in an epic encounter, and the other one was the end of an era. So something has to be on the line for this if this is going to work. Something, and
right.
I just don't see who they can put in that spot.
It's a tough spot. You're right. It is a tough spot. It's tough shoes to fill, to say the least.
Yeah.
You're right. So
I mean, the only person I can really think of is Sting. I can't really think of anybody else.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna take a quick break here, and when we come back, we'll wrap up viewer questions, and when the doctor will anoint this week's viewer of the week.
Oh, it is my week, isn't it?
Well, when we come back.
Oh, babe, check this out. Hey, come on. You want a little chippy? You want a Dorito? Are you hungry? I want to get a Dorito.
Babe, don't hurt my dog.
Come on, get a chip. Come on, get a chip. Get a chip. Come on. Here we go. Here we go.
And welcome back here on Triple Threat Talk. I am Postmaster Jones along with my esteemed co-host, the Doctor and Big B. We're wrapping up user questions as Dino is saying hello.
I dropped the belt now.
From JB11 2011.
JBL.
How do you guys feel about what happened on Monday Night Raw when Jerry the King Lawler suffered a heart attack? Again, I will quote Big B, we're not ignoring your question, but we're going to delve into this question a little later in wrestling, so stay tuned. We're not ignoring it, we're just using it as a topic. So, good question, we're going to get to it in the topic.
It's not what I say, but close enough.
Yeah.
I say we're not ignoring it, but we're ignoring it for now.
And finally, to wrap up user questions, also from JB11 2011, do you guys see Daniel Bryan turn face soon?
I do, with this Kane anger management thing. It just seems like they're going that route. I mean, Daniel Bryan. I mean, you can tell when he goes out there, everyone's chanting yes, and he really can't. He's trying so hard just to do no, but he can't help the yes chants filling in his head. I mean, I just see it coming soon eventually with this whole, like I said, the anger management thing. Him teaming with Kane, and they're kind of like buddy a little bit. So I see like a transition, maybe in a little while, of him turning that other side to go to the face route. So.
I think that might be what they're gearing towards, the anger management. I don't think he works well as a heel. Daniel Bryan's one of those guys, I think he's better as a face. I don't know why he's been heel for so long, because for me it just really doesn't do it.
Well, when he did the yes thing, he was over anyway.
Yeah, he was over, and I mean, he was supposed to be heel, but he's getting over.
Right.
And bless you. I just don't like him as a heel. I like Daniel Bryan.
Right. Yeah.
Just not as a heel.
No. Yes. That's my answer to that question.
Come on. Very innovative.
Yes, that's right. So that wraps up user questions, and for that, we will now turn it over to the Doctor, who will anoint this week's Viewer of the Week.
No dead air here. Against all odds 20. Congratulations. You are this week's Triple Threat Talk Viewer of the Week. And great back to back.
Yeah.
Back to back.
The Route 66 version.
That's right.
Yeah, maybe Buck and Five's got some competition.
So, Big B.
What?
I understand. Now, see, I'm hearing rumors
Oh, okay.
that Triple Threat Talk has new headline music.
No, we don't.
We don't.
No, I don't think so.
I thought we had new headline music.
No, it can't be new headline music.
All right.
Wait. You mean just for this week?
Yes.
Oh, for this week.
I heard we have a special headline this week.
Oh, okay.
So, Big B, hit the special headline music.
Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Oppan Gangnam Style.
Gangnam Style.
Gary's been taken over by Gangnam Style.
Sorry, Gary.
No, sorry. Gangnam Style.
It's still the Gary. It's still the Gary.
We'll upload a video of doing the Gary, see if it gets 150 million views in less than 2 months. Same match for you.
Hey, Jay Glazer does the Gary.
That's right.
So, and ironic,
It's taking the nation by storm. It is ridiculously popular.
Yes, Gangnam Style is taking the nation by storm.
It's already taken.
Well, unfortunately, this week we do have some bad news to report. Former Browns owner and Ravens owner Art Modell passed away at the age of 86. Always sad whenever you see a football legend go down. Last year it was Al Davis. This year Art Modell, who single-handedly pissed off the city of Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't gonna. To respect to the family, they weren't allowing them to do it at the game, which they didn't for the moment.
Yeah, Cleveland. They didn't want. They didn't want Cleveland too. Yes, they were going to, and they said no.
No, don't do it. So.
But yeah. Brandon McCarthy, the Oakland A's pitcher, who took a line drive to the side of the skull.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Life-threatening at one point.
Very dangerous.
Very dangerous. He was. I mean, they really didn't know if this kid was going to live. They really got in there in the helping hands of the Oakland hospital. Helped him. He is now getting out. He's talking. He's responsive. He's stable. So that's definitely good news for sure. And speaking of tragic accidents, Tulane's Devin Walker undergoing spine surgery after a massive hit that he took at Tulsa on Saturday. They thought he would be paralyzed for life, but he's showing signs that he may be responsive. They still don't know for sure, but they have a small reason apparently to be optimistic, and we're hoping that happens too. Absolutely. That's been happening a lot lately. Absolutely. I'm going to go to my right for Postmaster to go left.
So we're going right to left.
Go right and go back left.
That's right.
I got it. So this past weekend at Richmond was the final race to get into the chase. The top 10 was pretty much sold up. Top 11, really. Casey Kane had the most wins of the wild card. It basically came down to pretty much Kyle Busch and Jeff Gordon for the final wild card spot. Kyle Busch had a 13-point lead. This race had everything, including about a rain delay to start, and then about an hour rain delay in the middle of the race. I finally got to bed about 2:30 a.m. Sunday morning. Luckily, it was...
Thank you, NASCAR.
Yeah. But Jeff Gordon comes from behind, Big B's favorite. Watch it, sir. Watch it. This is a family-rated show.
I didn't say anything.
Bring back the mustache.
I didn't say anything.
Bring it back. You said you would, Jeff.
Jeff Gordon said if he made the chase, he would bring back the mustache. And if you don't know, get online and check out the Jeff Gordon mustache. It's rather funny looking.
Long time ago.
But anyway, Clint Boyer wins the Richmond Ring 1 million.
Gordon came in second.
Jeff Gordon come in second.
Needed to,
Tony Stewart finishes fourth, so good strong finish for him.
Yeah.
Kyle Busch, this is how he lost out. With about 150 or so laps to go, there was rain showers in the area. Kyle Busch's crew told him to stay out. Well, the back half of the top 10 pitted, the front half stayed out. Well, at the end of the race, the back half that pitted finished in the front because the rain went away and they were able to finish the race.
Right.
And the front half lost out on fuel mileage. So it turned into a fuel mileage kind of deal. Clint Boyer wins, so that locks your top 12 in, with Denny Hamlin getting your 1 seed with 4 victories. Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson, and Brad Keselowski all tied for second with 3 victories. So good stuff. I think it's a wide open chase. I can't.
Earnhardt's in 7th, right?
Yes, I can't begin to tell you who I think's going to win. I mean, Jeff Gordon could ultimately win.
Yeah.
I mean, he could slip in and win.
Grow that mustache, have a chance.
I mean, he's only 12 points behind.
Right.
He was 12 points behind going into this week, and he did it.
Exactly,
so no reason why he can't do it. So they go to Chicagoland this week. I will be in attendance. I will be in the pits, which I'm quite excited about.
Bring your earplugs.
Yes, bring your earplugs. Yes.
You know this.
So I'll be shaking it with Luke Bryan, and then I'll be jamming out to the NASCAR.
You better get an interview.
Yeah, I'll try my best.
Say, that was the one you liked the video for. I should get an interview.
Yeah, that's right. So from moving to NASCAR to a 5-hour tennis match.
Right.
That's been common lately.
Yeah, right. I'll delve into that in a second. I do want to comment on the women's side real quick. Serena Williams, she was playing brilliant tennis the whole tournament. She runs into Victoria Azarenka and has a little bit of slip up. She wins in 3 sets, but in the 3rd set, there was a point where Azarenka had match points and she couldn't convert. Serena Williams wins her, I believe, her 14th Grand Slam or 15th Grand Slam. She beats her 6-2, 2-6, 7-5. Congratulations to Serena Williams on that front. Very good job by her. She was my pick to win the whole thing. Tough final, but she gets it done in 3 sets. And moving on to the men's final. Men's final. Andy, No, but I want to say one thing about the U.S. Open.
You wanted me to get into tennis. Andy Murray is exciting for me to watch. I don't care about Djokovic. I really don't. I don't care about them. I like watching Andy Murray play.
But I'll say this about the U.S. Open: it's very, out of all the 4 Grand Slams, it's the one that's run the worst. I'll say that the schedule right now, it's not as well run as the Wimbledon and French Open in Australia. It's not well scheduled. I don't like the fact that the conditions were very windy and they were worried about the rain, so they had to wait for Djokovic and Ferrer to finish their semifinal. It's the only tournament that's not going to have a roof in a couple of years. The French Open's going to get a roof. They're not going to have a roof until 2016. They need to improve the conditions for these players because the conditions at the US Open were horrible. The match between Murray and Berdych, the wind was terrible. There was stuff flying over the court. The chairs were falling.
It was pandemonium.
Murray's hat fell off.
Cats and dogs were playing together. It was insane.
You done?
Hey, it's funny.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. So I mean, they need something to fix this situation because the scheduling is very often, and I don't like the thing of Super Saturday. I don't think the players do either because they got to play the semifinal Saturday and then come back Sunday to play the final. It's a thing that nobody likes. I don't think Super Saturday thing, and it needs to be changed. But all that being said, definitely congratulations to Andy Murray who wins in 5 sets, 7-6, 7-5, 2-6, 3-6, 6-2. Wins his first ever Grand Slam. He was 0-4 in the last ones, but he wins this one. And I'll say this, I do commend Andy Murray for winning, but I will say this to counter that. If Nadal was there or Federer didn't lose, Murray would not have won the Grand Slam. I could say that, period, and I know that for a fact because if Nadal was healthy, he would have been there towards the end, and I think Federer, if he was playing a lot better, if he won that match against Berdych because the conditions were kind of whatever and Federer wasn't playing as well as I know he can, Murray would not have been in the final against Djokovic. Would have been.
And if the dog hadn't stopped to use the bathroom, he would have caught a rabbit.
That's right.
But I'm just saying.
I mean, all I'm saying, I got it. I mean, I know we're not the tennis gurus like you are, but I have to disagree because it was Murray and Djokovic in the Olympics. I mean,
no, it was not. Murray and Federer was in the final.
Yeah, Murray. Sorry,
Djokovic played the bronze medal with Del Potro.
But I mean, they still made it that far. And what I'm trying to say is, Murray still made it further than Nadal, and
Nadal wasn't there.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
Exactly, he was there.
Nadal. Well, I'm just saying.
Murray was there. That's what I'm trying to.
I know Murray was there, but I'm saying
that is my point.
If Nadal was healthy, if his knee wasn't bothering him, Nadal would have been there. He would have been a force. He would have made it to at least. He would have beaten Murray somewhere along the line.
What is that? What was that old saying that JR used to say? If wishes were fishes.
I don't know that.
I'm just
he said it in the games.
I'm just saying, believe me, I know my tennis. Believe me.
I'm not doubting you.
I'm just saying, Federer served horrible against Berdych. He had a lot of unforced errors. If he played, I know he could better than that. He would have made it out.
I will say this.
And if Nadal was there, I'm telling you, Murray would not have won that Grand Slam.
I will say this to your point about the conditions. They're paid professionals. Suck it up and deal with it.
Tell Andy Murray that because he was on talk shows all Monday morning after the final.
That's fine.
The wind it's a tough condition where it affects. Believe me, I've played in wind before. It affects the ball. It affects how you play.
Oh, there's no doubt.
I agree with you.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Go ask Tiger Woods or Rory McIlroy how to play in the British Open and see what they say about the wind. Let's not play because there's 50
They don't not play.
Yes, they do.
I'm saying they don't stop playing because.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I'm just saying, and I mean, kudos to Murray because I told you, I said he practices in the hot heat of Miami with the winds blowing. He plays in those kind of conditions, so he was a leg up in this kind of match because the conditions were what they were.
I'll take the $2.5 million runner-up check to play in winds like that.
Yeah, okay. I think I would too. I'm not going to sneeze $2 million.
No disrespect towards Andy Murray. He got his Grand Slam, and everyone said this would be the first one he would win, which I did think this would be the first one he would win at the U.S. Open. So great job for Murray. Pretty astounding that 4 different people won Grand Slams this year. Djokovic won the Australian Open, Nadal won the French, Wimbledon went to Federer, and the US Open went to Murray. So very good stuff for the end of the year for tennis, and look forward to next year. So.
Tennis.
And we got some baseball races to talk about before we delve into football. NFL. We've got excuse me. Baltimore and New York are tied in the East.
Baltimore won.
Baltimore.
Yankees lost to the Red Sox today.
Yeah. So. The White Sox are up 2 games on Detroit. Justin Verlander needs to step it up there.
And he can only do what he can in 1 over 5 outings.
Texas is up 3 on Oakland. Washington, Cincinnati, and San Francisco. I think they're pretty much locked too. I would agree with that statement. Yeah. Cincinnati's the first team to get their magic number in the single digits. That it's 9 right now. So earlier today, St. Louis did lose.
Right.
The AL wild card, Oakland, Baltimore, and the Yankees are in a 3-way tie with Tampa Bay 2 games back. and LA 2.5 games back. Atlanta and St. Louis are tied with the Dodgers, 1 game back, in Pittsburgh 2.5.
Right.
So as we get down, they were talking today about the schedules for next year. The schedules for next year are already out. You can go to MLB's website or your favorite team's website, and the new schedules are up and at them. Leading into that, though, speaking of who's going to play who, a lot of people today are wondering if the Reds are going to be able to catch the Nationals, which it's not impossible. They're a game back.
I think there's a possibility, and I was going to say this before, and we're running close to the break here. I'll say this before, though. I had the Nationals as a lock in the World Series representing the NL with Steven Strasburg. Now that he's out, I'm not so sure that rotation can sustain to go to the World Series with that team. They're very good, but I had Strasburg was a lock for me for the NL. But without him, I don't know.
They are extremely talented group.
Well, I'll tell you what is a lock is this break. And we're going to take this break. And when we come back, we'll finish this topic and move on to football right after this.
Hey, Peyton. Welcome back.
Thanks, Papa. What are we going to do to kick off this season?
Same thing as last season. 1 million free Papa John's pizzas.
Good idea. 2 million free pizzas. I like it.
No. 1 million free Papa John pizzas.
2 million pizzas it is. Let's do it.
All season long, Papa John's has 2 million free pizzas for Papa Rewards members. Sign up now at papajohns.com, where a large buffalo chicken pizza is $10 or any large $2 more.
Better ingredients?
Better pizza.
Papa John's. Really? 2 million free pizzas?
Wait till you see what's next.
And welcome back to Triple Threat Talk. I am Baby alongside with the Doctor and Postmaster Jones. We were just talking about baseball. Now we're going to delve into football. Or we're still going about baseball?
Did you have a thought on baseball that you want?
I was just gonna say I agree with you all. Even though Strasburg is shut down, I don't think Cincinnati. They might be able to catch him, but in a short amount of time, I'm not so sure.
Right. I'm worried about the Yankees, to be honest with you.
I think
worried about him as in how?
They might even make the playoffs.
Well,
I mean, it's not inconceivable because
it isn't.
Baltimore is right there with them. They've been hanging with them for the last couple of weeks. The Yankees been slipping, and Oakland's in first in that wild card. So Oakland wins that wild card. Baltimore wins the AL East, and the Yankees are not. They're at nowhere.
There's 2 AL wild cards, just like there's 2 NL. So they could.
Remember that. They could. But that was added this year, right? Another wild card.
Yeah, another wild card. And they only play 1 game.
Right. And the thing is,
which is weird.
I had the Yankees as a lock earlier when they were on that tear as a World Series lock for either the winning or games as representing the AL. But I don't know. I'm not so sure anymore. They're struggling. They don't look as good as they used to. They didn't have a dominant hold as they did. I just look to the Yankees as that dominant team right now. I don't.
Yep.
2 bits of breaking news earlier today. Notre Dame joined the ACC in all sports but football, where they're going to maintain their independence.
And again, they're twisting somebody's arm.
Notre Dame will play 5 football games against annual ACC opponents. School will join the ACC as soon as it can exit the Big East, which is usually about 24 to 27 months.
Right.
It's 27 in the.
So that's a pretty big move for Notre Dame.
It's pretty big. Right. Notre Dame already played 4 ACC schools this year on their schedule.
Exactly. So
and I don't think, like they were saying earlier, will this affect the tradition games? Like Notre Dame, Stanford, Notre Dame, USC, Notre Dame, Michigan.
I don't think so.
No, I think those will all still be scheduled.
I'll tell you one thing: when basketball goes, they're going to have a tough schedule.
Yeah, the thing is, lately, to that point, the Big East has been crumbling in basketball, with the exception of certain notable exceptions like U of L.
Right.
But the Big East is definitely not the powerhouse it once was. The ACC is getting back up there for sure. ACC is probably, I'd say the ACC and the Big Ten are the 2 top basketball conferences, followed by the Big East.
Right.
So definitely still in the top 3 out of the 12 major out of the 7 major conferences, and then 12 total conferences.
I don't know Notre Dame. I look forward to playing people like Duke, North Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Mike
one of those
Gray
things.
look across the court and see his twin, Mike Krzyzewski. They do kind of look alike.
They both look like giant rats.
That's a Kentucky fan for you.
It's true.
That's a Kentucky fan for you.
It's true.
Wow.
But that'll wrap up headlines, and then we're going to get
one more headline.
Oh yeah, that's right. The other breaking news.
Actually, found out today from our good friend Michael Rickard. Actually,
Jim Calhoun is looking to retire and before the season begins, and of course, head coach at UConn. I definitely wish him the best. He's choosing a good time. Right. He's declining in health a little bit. Yeah. He's getting old.
He missed games last year.
He missed games last year. But hey,
maybe they should get the women's coach there to coach the men.
He's built a dynasty.
Holy cow!
I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Kellen, one of the better college coaches out there for sure.
Yep.
And then that will wrap up headlines. But from headlines, we're going to go straight into NFL coverage, which does have a few headline stories.
Sure, for sure.
So usually, most of the time, when you see a big hit laid on somebody, it usually comes from a defender, right? A defender onto an offensive player.
9 times out of 10.
Yep.
Big B. Can we show them the exception to that rule?
Oh, no, I'm not too violent for this show. I'll show it anyway. Viewer discretion is definitely advised.
Get a chance for more here, and loses his helmet and gets 9 yards. Well, that's the Trent Richardson the Browns were hoping for. He gets 9 yards. His helmet got a lot more.
I'm sorry, I can't contain myself, but that's what this kid brings to the table. You saw it all right there. A rare combination of vision. He finds the hole, a burst, and then he finishes, and he finishes violently. That's the way you finish a run. That's the way you play football in the National Football League.
Coleman's helmet flew about 10 yards. There's a message there.
Wow!
I think he dropped something.
I think he dropped something too.
Excuse me, what was the name of that truck that just laid through?
I think it was named Trent Richardson, and definitely getting it done. I mean,
he just got knocked the truck out.
If you go to the Cleveland Browns website, this is hilarious. Okay. If you go to the Cleveland Browns website, they have put that in GIF format.
Really?
And it is playing constantly in the background of the Browns website.
Yes.
From the snap to the snap.
I'm going to tell you, that was the highlight of the game for them. Anyway.
That was insane.
No, I disagree.
Oh, okay.
Only because, I disagree because the Browns had a chance to win that
for
game.
Sure. I think talking about the interesting beginning to the game for Brandon Whedon.
Oh, well, that too, but I'm just saying from the, I guess we can talk about that game here real quick.
Yeah.
They had a good chance. I mean, they blew their chance. They, Ryan Tannehill, awful. I mean, Brandon Whedon. Brandon Tannehill was awful too. As a matter of fact, Tannehill, Whedon, Luck, and what's the fourth one?
RG3.
No.
Oh, the one that lost. Who was the fourth one?
Tannehill, Whedon, Luck, and anyway, they combined for a passer rating under 100. Combined. Yeah. They threw for a combined 10 interceptions.
Yeah. So
ugly.
Yeah, bad.
Yeah, I mean, the as he said, the Eagles did squeak out a win, 17-6 over the Broncos. Mm-hmm. But moving on to a bit of the Browns. Sorry, the Browns. Moving on though to RG3, since I brought his name up a second ago. They beat New Orleans at the Superdome, 40-32. This is the first year where 5 teams made 40 or more points. They include Baltimore, Chicago, Atlanta, Washington, and the Jets.
Griffin went off 19 of 26, 320 yards and 2 touchdowns. I said this 1,000 times that day. He played as perfect as you can possibly play that day.
He played amazingly.
He played the position as perfect as you possibly do it. The defense did rattle Brees a little bit, but obviously that Saints offense is still high powered as they always are. But I tell you though, I was very impressed with his performance that day. I didn't think they would play as well as they did, putting up 40 points, and Griffin playing very smart, staying in the pocket. The guy can throw the ball. There's no doubt about that. But if I was a Redskins fan, I'd be very pleased with that situation.
Yeah. Is it me? And then this just could be my opinion, but does Jonathan Vilma look like an idiot?
Yeah, he
always does.
The man whines and cries and yells about Roger Goodell, and he's reinstated to play, and he's on the injured reserve list.
So
he was injured. What are you crying about? You couldn't even play. You're injured. Shut up. Really?
Come on, Jonathan.
What a moron. Stupid.
The Bears squeak out a win over the Colts, 41-21.
Squeak.
Sarcasm.
That's a big squeak.
Hashtag sarcasm. The Lions do win late over the Rams, 27.
Wow.
Some Lions news we're going over that. According to Adam Schefter, ESPN NFL Insider, there's a foot injury regarding Calvin Johnson.
The Madden
curse strikes again. Again, we don't know how severe it is. We'll keep you updated on that. But there's something wrong with Calvin Johnson. He didn't practice today.
Practice.
And the foot injury.
Practice.
We're talking about practice.
Yeah, we are. The foot injury occurred, so my point to this, I'm not going to go too far on this, obviously, but the point is like, shut up. The point is,
we get it. You said the point is 3 times.
Well, let me finish my point. Thank you.
That's what she said.
What? No, she didn't. Why? If you know this goes on every single year, why would you agree to be on the cover in the first place? If Peyton Manning's on the cover, you blow a gasket. If Patrick was on the cover, you blow a gasket. If anyone from Seattle, I already did blow a gasket. John Madden was on in 2007. Now he's retired. Thank you, John Madden. Moving on.
The Falcons run away with the win over the Chiefs 40-24. Thank God I have Julio Jones on my fantasy team.
It was 17-17.
No. We're going to talk about that.
It was 17-17 at one point, was it not?
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
The Vikings win in OT.
Game. What a game.
Usually the words Blaine Gabbert and amazing game don't really go together.
I was very impressed with Gabbert.
But this week they in fact do, because he went toe to toe, pass for pass with Christian Ponder. It was very, very, very good football played by both teams.
What a heartbreaker. It was first overtime game of the year so far.
It was the first overtime.
It was good though.
So we saw the new overtime rules.
We saw the new rules, which thankfully finally eliminate sudden death. The stupidest set of rules ever. Sudden death.
Let's explain real quick. The Vikings get the ball first, and they got a field goal. Normally that would end the game. If the Vikings got a touchdown, that would have ended the game. So Jacksonville did have a chance to counter them with either a field goal to keep it going or a touchdown to end it. They didn't get the job done.
However, if there was a safety in the opening series,
Thank you.
Yes.
The Jets beat down the Bills 48.
Sorry, Michael.
Sorry, Mike.
Sanchez,
not too impressive on the yardage wise, but does throw for 3 touchdowns.
Tim Tebow at wide receiver.
Yeah.
Here coming the onside kick.
Texans beat the Dolphins, debuting Ryan Tannehill 30-10. Cardinals, with help from Kevin Cobb, beat the Seahawks 20-16.
Good job.
That was a good game, though. That really was a good game.
It wasn't Russell Wilson's fault.
Thank you. I'm glad you said that because there was a pass in the end zone thrown to Doug Baldwin. He had it in his hands and he landed on it and he dropped it. I thought it was a touchdown originally, but they looked at it and he didn't have control of it. And there was a pass to Braylon Edwards, the last throw he made. He should have caught that too. I'm still baffled why they didn't get the ball to Marshawn Lynch, but that's here nor there. But I wasn't too disappointed with Wilson, but I wasn't thrilled like RG3.
As Skip Bayless says, unleash Marshawn Lynch.
The Bucks and the surprise over the Panthers.
Wow. Surprise of the week. Greg Schiano must run a touchdown over there. They played very good defense. They shut, I think, the Panthers had like 11 yards rushing when they were like one of the top teams last year.
I said, if you remember, on the football special, that Josh Freeman is a decent quarterback.
Well, he had a good year.
And he had a good year 2 years ago, and last year was just a down year. And I said there would be some improvement. They definitely shot me. I think Greg
Schiano's going to help that team in the long run.
Absolutely.
Sure. And Doug Martin had a heck of a game.
Yeah.
The Broncos. We'll talk about that game in a minute.
Oh, okay.
Ravens and Flacco blow out the Bengals 44-13. Flacco goes 21 for 29, 299 and 2 touchdowns. Other touchdowns by Ed Reed on an interception return and by Ray Rice. Definitely some amazing stuff there.
What a wallop to begin Monday Night Football.
This is the thing about Joe Flacco. And he's done this the last few years. What he does is he opens up extremely well.
Right.
And then the rest of the season he's average at best.
Thank you for saying that.
I hope he can keep up this head of steam because I like Joe Flacco. I think he's like I said on the football special, which by the way, there's been some delays.
We're going to
get back to that in a little bit, but you'll see what we're saying. Yeah. On the football special, I said that Flacco is a great scientific player.
I agree with you because he's won so many games with the Ravens. He's gotten to the playoffs his first couple seasons, so he obviously can win.
He knows how to win. He's just got to know how to hold on to that.
And there were 32-yard field goals in the Super Bowl last year too. So
and the Chargers win in a controversial ending. Not really controversial. I wouldn't call it controversial. The notes say it, but
I would.
I'm not going to call it controversial because 95 yards for a score.
Right, but the point is, it still should have happened. I wrote the notes. Yeah, it's insurmountable. It's a really hard score to make, a 95-yard score. But the point remains, it should have been their ball with no time left to have one more play. Like I said, I'll go into it really quick. The Chargers punted the ball, and the Chargers down with no time left. The rules state that the team should get one more play. They did not.
But 95 yards.
95 yards is very impossible. But
I don't think the refs affected this outcome at all.
But again,
You really don't know for sure, but it's like less than 1%.
Well, I'm saying, but again, that's the rule, and it's both in the replacement. If the originals were there, they probably would have done it, but they probably didn't know the rule.
If the Raiders had a solid deep threat, someone like Torrey Wilson or Vernon Davis or Randall Cobb, somebody that they could put out there to throw and definitely catch a deep ball.
I think Hayward Bay could catch it. Hayward Bay's not the issue. Palmer's the issue. I don't think Palmer can throw that ball that deep. And again, you probably see where they throw the ball to somebody and they run on the field, they pass it behind them, and they do all that, flashy stuff. Whatever.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree, but respectfully, of course, we're all entitled to our opinions.
Well, before we delve into the 2 biggest games of the week, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll wrap up Week 1 in the NFL, and we get to pick'ems right after this.
The Fresh Maker.
Gangnam Star. Are we back?
Yep, we've been back.
What the heck was that? What was that?
What happens during the break, ladies and gentlemen?
Gangnam Style overtaking Triple Threat Talk.
Oh boy.
So before we head into everything,
that'll be a gift soon, I guarantee.
The last few games here, we definitely have the Broncos and Peyton Manning defeat Steelers and Roethlisberger 31-19. It was a good game. It was an entertaining game. I definitely thought that the offense of the Broncos looked amazing. Their defense. Their defense had a good game.
Yeah, they had it good, but it wasn't great.
It wasn't great.
And when I noticed a couple of delay games.
Yeah, there were a couple illegal formations in that game.
Oh
too.
my God! Wow. It was like 6 in the first quarter.
I tweeted and I put on Facebook. I'm not quite sure they knew what an illegal formation was.
You know what was good, epic about that game though?
What's that?
It was the beginning of Skype for somebody.
Yeah, it was.
The first ever Skype session for the doctor.
I joined Skype so I could watch it with my buddies here at Triple Threat Talk.
We Skyped during the whole game. I got
a nice workout in.
If you want to add us on Skype, go for it.
Add us on Skype. We'll talk to you.
I don't remember what my Skype name is.
You can look him up.
I thought you were the doctor.
I thought
if you type in your name, it'll come up. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So getting into the 2 games of the week, that's going to lead into a discussion here in a second because it really made me mad.
What else is there?
Well, I mean, it's not even why you think it is. It's just simple. It's simple statistics, and we've talked about it on the show. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is New England. I want to talk about their win over Tennessee. Thank you. I was trying to find the score. The Patriots did, in fact, beat Tennessee 34-13. No effort at all.
I mean,
do you see anything impressive there?
Well, I mean, I like Gronk and I like Tom Brady, but the thing is, it's like, the thing I don't get, and you probably agree with me because I think this is where you're going, it's like, the Patriots defense played well. Tennessee's not that good of a team.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's impressive. He shut down Chris Johnson for 4 yards, but he hasn't played well the last couple of years.
Tom Brady played with a bloody nose. He's not a pretty boy.
Giselle.
He got rough and tumbly.
Giselle, I got a boo-boo. No.
Giselle. Kiss my nose.
And I do like Tom Brady. I do
like to kiss.
And I do like Gronk. But I don't get why they're saying that the Patriots defense has arrived. Play someone that has a really high, like if you play the Saints and you shut them down this way, you play Green Bay, shut them down this way, then the defense has arrived. Tennessee is not really a high power. Kenny Britt is very good, don't get me wrong. You're playing Jake Locker, who just started, he got injured, Hasselbeck's getting old, and Chris Johnson's not that good anymore.
I mean, it's one of those things that the next day, like all you heard was New England's defense that, New England's defense this. It was Tennessee.
What, they gave 13 points?
It was Tennessee. I mean,
it was the 2-step.
It was Tennessee. I mean, seriously. I don't know what else you can say except for it was Tennessee.
Yeah. Wait until they play someone more credible. Sorry.
Now, this leads us into what I really want to get into here. The 49ers, with a very impressive win at Lambeau over the Packers, 30-22.
I think me and you picked Green Bay, and you picked 49ers.
I picked the 49ers, and it was one of those things that the defense, and they've been talking about this all preseason and all off season, really. The pass rush. They're really stacking up on the left-hand side. Mm-hmm. I think it's something like 10 of the major teams in the NFL are extremely weak on the left-hand side. And this list is not limited to, but does include New England, Green Bay, and Lions. Yeah. And the 49ers play all three this year.
Yeah, they played Lions actually this week.
And they stack the deck on the left side with Aldon Smith and Justin Smith.
Smith and Smith?
The Smith and Smith.
Smith and Smith law firm.
So it's one of those things that they absolutely smothered the offense of Green Bay.
Yeah.
After the game, Jared Bush, an idiot cornerback, opened his mouth and said, "They didn't really beat us. We beat ourselves." Guess what? The scoreboard says they didn't.
Clay Matthews say that when we lost to the Giants?
Yeah, Clay Matthews said that's exactly where I was going with that. Clay Matthews already used that excuse. Green Bay, you can be beat. When you play a good offense, or a good defense, the problem that we saw last year with Green Bay is they did, and I said it on this show several times, they did not play a defense even close to the 49ers, and there were only 3 to pick from last year, the 49ers, the Bears, and the Ravens, and they played none of those teams.
And I'll say this to your point also.
Or they played the Bears, but...
I'll say this to your point also, and then Jared Bush, obviously he's an idiot for saying that. He said, like, oh, we didn't lose to the Niners, we beat ourselves. Guess what? As far as I'm concerned, your defense is 0-18. You haven't won a single game. Your defense is horrible. You lost. Your offense won every single game last year. You won 15-1, and then your defense lost the game in the playoffs against the Giants, and you lost to the Niners on Sunday. Your defense stinks. Your defense is terrible, and I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to have a year he had last year. You're not going to go 15-1. I'm sorry. That defense needs to step it up.
They're not going to win out this year.
No, but, I totally agree.
The Bears are coming for them. I'm telling you.
The Bears might even get it done. 63-yard field goal though from David Akers. The 49ers, like you said, beat the Packers 30-22. It hit the field goal and then of course went back.
Got some help from the post.
Got some help from the post.
Friendly rub.
Made it nonetheless.
After week 1, and this is where I want to go with this. After week 1, the power rankings came out. And I'm not saying this, I swear I'm not saying this because I'm a 49ers fan. Right. I'm using common sense and logic in this.
Right.
New England was listed as the #1 team in the NFL. Really? You played one of the bottom tier teams of the NFL, and you're excited because you beat them by a couple of touchdowns?
I wouldn't put Tennessee in the bottom. I put them in the mid tier.
Tennessee is on the bottom of the list.
I have like the Browns at the bottom.
Well, they're Tennessee's on the final 5.
There's like bottom, and then there's like Tennessee. I'd say like down there's like Cleveland and
But when you're a team,
St. Louis,
when you're a team like the 49ers, who had an amazing year last year. And you play somebody like the Green Bay, who had an amazing year last year,
right, yeah.
And you beat them at home. You had 2 top 3 teams from the previous season.
Right, yeah.
One beats the other. In my opinion, and in several other people's opinions, San Francisco is the true #1 team right now, not New England. New England is good. They're definitely number 2, number 3. There are a couple teams there's maybe 1 or 2 teams I might even put in front of them, such as the Bengals. The fact of the matter is, when you play someone as weak as Tennessee in the first game, or the Ravens, sorry. When you play someone as weak as Tennessee in the first game, you should not be #1 in the power rankings. I don't care how you try to justify it.
I think this might
good show.
I think this might partially go towards maybe how down maybe New England, or even though Tennessee's not the best team, I don't think they're at the bottom. I put Cleveland down there in St. Louis, and the Bucs from last year, and the Vikings from last year. That's the bottom tier for me. I think Tennessee's a little bit above that, but to your point, I do agree. I think the 49ers should be maybe right there with New England because I think they had a more impressive win. But at the same time, the Packers' defense isn't that good. So I think the Niners were able to score more points offensively than they would against the team because the Packers' defense is kind of weak. If they played someone like the Bears, it would have been more tough for the Niners to score 30 points, I think. But I do agree. I think it's tough to go into Lambeau and win that game at home.
Exactly.
So, based on that point, I kind of have to agree with you, mate, at this point. I think the win over Tennessee does not justify them being #1 team in the league. Tennessee is not a powerhouse team. Powerhouse teams like the Baltimore Ravens, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Denver Broncos. You beat someone like that, 34-13, you're #1 in the league. But the Niners beating the Packers in Lambeau Field, which is not an easy task to do, I think that puts them at the top of this point. I mean, it's only week 1 and things are going to change. That's,
right, obviously.
That's what the NFL is. But I think after week 1, the Niners are the dominant team. You beat the Packers at home, who went 15-1 last year. Despite their defense lacking, they went 15-1. That team is very good offensively, and the Niners were able to stop them. I think the Niners are the best team in the league right now, honestly.
All right. I totally agree. I concur. I mean, they look the best. They win in the Lambeau, which is not an easy place to win, and they took the win away. They made Aaron Rodgers do what he normally doesn't do, and that's make a mistake, throw the interceptions. And so I have to agree.
You should have discounted double check and threw it out of bounds.
They played that commercial all the way through.
Well, they're sort of right now because the NFL's back.
So that wraps up week 1.
Week 1.
As you can see, Doctor went 11-4. We only picked 15 games last week because
we wanted to just enjoy the first game.
Yeah.
Welcome back, NFL. We wanted to.
I went 9-6. Big B, you're already trailing at 8-7.
I should have picked Robert Griffin.
So that leads us into Pick'em. And the first game of the week will be tonight. The Chicago Black Bears against the Green Bay Slackers.
I like it.
And since he won, he gets rights to pick from.
I apologize. The game is in Chicago, is it not?
No, it's at Packer. It's at Lambeau.
It's at Lambeau?
Yeah, it's at Lambeau.
Okay, I know I had that.
So, if it was anywhere, if they were going into Soldier Field,
yeah, that's a Bears.
I would pick the Bears here. But because the 49ers wiped the floor with the Packers, embarrassed them at home.
They've lost the last couple games to them too.
I'm gonna pick the Packers just for that very reason.
This is a tough one to pick because, like I said, I think I mean the Colts aren't exactly a great defensive team either, with the Bears winning 41-21. But I think they look good. I think they look pretty good with Matt Forte and Michael Bush scoring a couple touchdowns and Brandon Marshall getting on offense. It's tough for me to pick the Packers losing another one on the Lambeau, but I like the Bears in this game. I think the Bears are the defense of the Bears is very tough, and I think the Bears might win this one.
I have to agree with the Doctor, and I go with Green Bay. The Tampa Bay Watch Your Buccaneers against the New York Gargantuans.
Same thing here. The Giants just not going to lose twice at home in a row, especially not to the Buccaneers. I'm picking the Giants.
I think the Bucs had a pretty good week last week. I think the Panthers kind of slacking. I think the Panthers pick it up this week. We'll get into that a little later, but I think the Giants win this game.
I picked the Giants as well. The Oakland O-Nos
I don't like that.
go on the road to take on the Miami Tenafins.
Tenafins.
Last year in this very game, I picked the Raiders to win against the Dolphins. Mm-hmm. I'm picking the Raiders again.
I think the Dolphins, a little Star Trek last week, playing the Texans, a very top powerhouse team like the Houston Texans. I think the Raiders, they have a little issue with quarterback. I don't think Carson Palmer's the answer. I said that before. But I think the Raiders win this game. I think the Raiders have more weapons to win this game with Darius Heyward-Bay and Darren McFadden on offense to win this one.
I agree. I go with the Oakland Raiders.
The Houston Texans.
The Houston Longhorns.
There we go.
Epic. I like it.
Go and take on the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm going to look forward to watching this game because it is Arian Foster versus Maurice Jones-Drew. Right. And I'm going to say Foster's going to come out victorious. I got to pick the Texans.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we said Blaine Gabbert had a really good game last week against the Vikings. He played much better than he played last year, for sure, in any game. And Jones-Drew wasn't really a factor, so it was a good game for Gabbert. This is their home opener against the Texans, but the Texans are just too tough for them. Texans win this game.
I take the Texans as well. And now the Battle of the Buckeye State. The Cleveland Clowns against the Cincinnati Bungles.
Both teams last week had a miserable start to the season.
I don't go on the Browns miserable. They almost upset the Eagles.
At this point, I've got to pick the Bengals because to me, it's just AJ Green, Andy Dalton. I mean, they played one of the toughest defenses in the league their very first game. The Browns do not have that good of a defense.
Scott Fajita is pretty good.
Well, yeah, but one person. I mean, when you're talking about Ray Malaluga, I mean, come on. I'm picking the Bengals.
Hopefully, Brandon Williams is going to call him the flag again because he's going to get called under the flag of the defense of the Cincinnati Bengals. They're going to be all over the Browns. If you're a Cleveland fan, I'm sorry, you're going to have a long road this season. I picked the Bengals.
I picked the Bengals as well. The Kansas City Chumps against the Buffalo Jills.
Last week, I was not impressed by the Chiefs.
I wasn't impressed by either team.
I wasn't really impressed by either team, but I was more impressed. I was a little bit impressed by the Bills.
The fight back, yeah.
Because they were fighting back.
C.J. Spiller.
They were fighting back with C.J. Spiller. C.J. Spiller definitely getting it done. Fred Jackson is out this week. So Spillman is going to...
And David Nelson is out for the season.
Yeah, David Nelson out for the season.
Bad.
Spillman, though, definitely showing you can get it done. You know, they're going to have to prove me wrong, the Chiefs are. I'm going to go with the Bills.
I like the Bills as well. I think one of the big, flashing signs of the season when people were picking the divisions, they said, well, the Chiefs are going to go 11-5 and do this amazing defense. Well, guess what? The Falcons exposed them big time last week. I go with the Bills.
I'm going to agree with you both and say Buffalo. And with that, we will take a break. And when we come back from break, we will wrap up Pick'ems in just a moment.
Would you like an autograph? I do way more for the fans.
I doubt that very much.
Do you like this hat? Here, it's yours. You can have it.
Take one of my helmets. It's much better than the hat.
What about a ride home? Can I give you a ride home? I mean,
Even better, take my car. Do whatever you want with it.
kidding me? Can you beat that?
I don't think so.
True champions know what fans really want. Mobil 1, the official motor oil of NASCAR. Many champions, many fans. One oil, Mobil 1.
And welcome back here on Triple Threat Talk. We were delving right into Pick'em.
Damn these commercials.
Let's keep it going here. The Baltimore Ratbirds against the Philadelphia Beagles.
The Eagles did not impress me last week at all. I'm going with the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles really had a bad game last week. Michael Vick throwing 56 passes, 4 interceptions against the Cleveland Clowns.
They ran 86 offensive plays last week. Yeah. Insane.
Yeah. The Eagles looked really poor last week against the Cleveland Browns. I mean, and the Ravens had one of the best games I've seen them play in a long time with Flacco throwing nearly 300 yards. I like the Ravens.
I go with the Ravens as well. The New Orleans Bounty Gates against the Carolina Cam Newtons.
I'm going with the Saints.
I think this game belongs to the Panthers. I think the Panthers had a hiccup last week. I think that's not going to happen again. I think the Saints are still going to be suspect on defense. And I think Cam Newton's going to play. I know he can. I pick the Panthers.
I don't think the Saints are going to stumble 2 weeks in a row. I pick the Saints. The Arizona Fighting Fitzgeralds.
Or Cubs now, or Skeletons, whoever knows.
Against the New England Unpatriotics.
Cardinals have a decent offense that they're throwing together. Definitely one of the best wide receivers in the league with Larry Fitzgerald. I don't see them upsetting the Patriots at all. I do see Beanie Wells running at will against this Patriots defense. I'm going to pick the Patriots, though.
I agree with you. I think Beanie Wells might have a really good game against New England's defense because everyone thinks they're so good to beat Tennessee. But I think the Patriots offense is too good to lose this game. I pick New England.
I pick New England. The Triple Threat Talk Toilet Bowl Game of the Week.
Whoa, come on. They both played good last week.
The Minnesota Pirates against the Indianapolis Lux.
I agree with it being the toilet bowl game of the week. I mean, not agree. I'm sorry. I disagree. I'm sorry. I disagree.
Well, I scanned it over, and that's the one that...
Well, out of the games here, yeah, I think all these games are legitimately going to be good games.
Yeah.
But
if I had to pick one.
If you had to pick one, it'd be this one.
Yeah.
The Vikings won again.
The Vikings are good. They're not supreme, and they're not bad.
They're not elite.
They're not elite, and they're not terrible. They're in the middle. They're one of the league's middle teams. Andrew Luck, though, showed me something last week that he cracks under pressure.
Yeah.
And under this defense of the Minnesota Vikings, if it was maybe another middle tier team like a Tennessee or like a Chiefs, I would maybe pick the Colts here. But since it's the Vikings, I'm going to have to say I'm going to go with the Vikings.
I think the Colts played one of the best defenses in the league right now in the Bears. That's why he got rattled. I don't think the Vikings have as strong a defense as the Bears. I actually like the Colts in this one, to be honest. I think Luck plays a little bit better because I don't think the defense is as strong as Chicago's.
Welcome to the basement, Indianapolis. You're going to stay there for a little while. I picked the Vikings.
All right, so I'm on my own here so far.
The Washington Potato Skins. But the St. Louis, who surprised the hell out of everybody, Lambs.
They did surprise me, but you know who surprised me more?
Who?
RG3. I'm picking the Redskins.
The thing I want to say about this game is that I think someone's going with the Lions because Stafford threw 3 interceptions last week. He plays that way against the game, and we're talking about, man, they're going to get trounced. Redskins scored 40 points on the Saints defense. Just imagine they're the Rams. RG3 is going to have another great game. I picked the Redskins.
I picked the Redskins as well. The Dallas Cowgirls against the Seattle Sea Chickens.
In Seattle, mind you.
The home opener.
You know what? This is a tough game to pick.
Yes.
I mean, the Cowboys beat the Super Bowl champs. All right, they're there. All right, they beat the Super Bowl champs. Seahawks did lose their opener, but not through any fault of anybody, really. It was just, I think it was just a tough game.
Their O-line was very weak in that game for sure.
You know what? I can't now. The Cowboys the last couple of years, the Cowboys seem to find weapons everywhere. They found DeMarco Murray. And now it's this Des Bryant, Kevin Ogletree. Last year it was also Laurent Robinson.
Miles Austin.
But Miles Austin hasn't really been. He wasn't found.
I'm saying they have a lot of weapons.
They have a lot of weapons and they find a lot of weapons. I'm going to have to go with the Cowboys.
As much as it pains me, I wasn't too impressed with Seattle last week. They should have beaten Arizona. Not easy, but they should have beaten Arizona. They should have handed the ball to Marshall Lynch more. The O-line needs to step it up. Receivers need to catch those balls, guys. As much as I like Seattle at home, I have to go with the Cowboys here. I really don't want to pick the Cowboys, but I have to.
Good luck digging out of a 2-game hole, Seattle. I pick Dallas. The New York 747s
T-Bows
go on the road against the Pittsburgh Squealers.
Yes! Yes!
Before I saw what the Jets did to the Bills, and yes, I know it's the Bills, but you're talking about a team that did do decent last year, the Bills, and they crushed them.
Crushed them like a
crushed them.
They walloped
The Steelers team, they definitely showed signs of aging. You know, they couldn't keep up with the Denver offense on defense.
Yeah, they never play good in Denver, though.
They don't play good in Denver, no, but at the same time, you got to put up at least a little bit of a fight. Because you're talking about a team that's won the Super Bowl in recent years. Right. You're talking about a team that made the playoffs, that lost to Denver, that should have been pissed off at Denver this year for taking them out the first year. They didn't respond.
Well, they had to deal with Peyton Manning.
And they had to deal with Peyton Manning, and now they're going to have to deal with Tebow again.
And started seeing this guy,
and they're going to have to deal with a Sanchez that seems to be rejuvenated. Like I said, the Jets are going to have to prove me wrong. I'm going with the Jets.
I like the Jets as well. I think the Steelers' offense is aging, like you said, and I think Mike Wallace's problems are like that, and I think Roethlisberger is not doing as good as he does, and I think the Jets' offense looked very good last week. I like the Jets.
The Steelers get Ryan Clark back, who could not play due to his altitude. I'm not sure if James Harrison will be playing. It's a possibility. It is the home opener for the Steelers. Even though they lost last week, the home crowd's going to be pretty ramped up. It's the first game of the year at Heinz Field. It's the afternoon primetime game, the game of the week for CBS, 4:30 kickoff. I'm going to pick the Steelers.
Another thing about the Steelers, I think they're getting tired of also looking at Demaryius Thomas's butt running basketball.
Yeah, I think so too.
The Tennessee Two Steps go on the road to take on the San Diego Sparklers.
I'm picking the Chargers here.
I wasn't too impressed with the Chargers in their game against Oakland,
but I was less impressed with the Titans.
Yeah, right. I don't know what they're going to do with quarterback. I don't know if Jay Clark is playing or not. Signs say I think he is playing, but I mean, they just don't have an offense. I don't see an offense from them. I like San Diego in this game.
I like the Chargers. The Sunday Night Football game of the week. The Detroit Cowardly Lions go on the road to Candlestick to take on the San Fran Failsco 49ers.
They are no longer the Failscos.
It's always been the Failsco.
No.
16-0, they're still San Fran Failsco.
I mean, the 49ers. I mean, you just...
Yeah.
I mean, really?
Yeah. I mean, the fact that the Lions struggled last week against the Rams, okay, and then this comes about Calvin Johnson having some kind of foot injury, something's going on with him. They need him as their main weapon. Stafford threw 3 picks last week. He did that against the Rams. They squeaked that win. You throw 3 picks against the 49ers, you're going to get trounced.
Yeah.
I picked the Niners at home.
Okay, I've decided that from here on out, until they lose a football game, their name will be the San Francisco 40 Epics.
Okay, thank you.
Until they lose a football game, we'll allow him
40
that.
Epics?
Yes, we will allow that.
Watch it be short-lived. The Lions not going to beat them. Thanks. Thank you.
1 week. That's it. That's all you get.
You're welcome, sir. You're welcome. You're welcome. And finally,
it's going to be good tomorrow.
You can tell Peyton Manning's back because yet again he's the primetime featured game of the week.
No argument there.
The Monday Night Football game of the week. The Denver Mannings go on the road to the Georgia Dome to take on Matty Ice and the Atlanta Falcons.
I don't think they fail this week. This offense ran wild last week, and they're playing a better defense than the Broncos. They are. They're playing a much better defense.
That's what it's going to be.
A much better offense.
That's what it's going to be.
And they are playing a much better offense, but the fact of the matter,
Wild West shootout.
The fact of the matter is they are stacked on defense. The Falcons are almost as good, if not a little bit better than the Broncos. Not quite as good as the 49ers or the Ravens, but still up there. I'm going to have to, usually for the majority of the season, I will probably be picking the Broncos. But this is the one I'm worried about for him because you got Matty Ice, you got Julio Jones,
Michael Turner,
and you got Michael Turner. You got Roddy White. I'm going with the Falcons.
I'm going to agree with you, sir. I think it will be a shootout, and I think the shootout.
Did I send you like vibes over there?
I think it will be a shootout. I think the shootout will go point Peyton Manning. I like the Broncos in this one.
Right. They don't call him the sheriff for nothing. I picked the Broncos.
All right.
So that wraps up Pick 'em Foosball.
Very different picks this week as both the last
week. I picked about 5 games different, I think, between all of us.
Me and you picked 2 games differently, sir.
Me and you?
Yes.
I could be on the road to Basement Dome.
So if I beat you in both of those, we'll be tied next week.
And then if Brandon Big B wins all the ones he picked differently, he'll skyrocket.
After week 1, we usually just say, thanks for playing along. We'll see you next year. So that moves us to wrestling.
I went from my mistake. Let's say don't bet against Griffin. For sure.
Let's moves us to OVW coverage.
OVW.
And with that, last week on OVW, you guys, unfortunately, due to other duties that you had to take care of, weren't in attendance. I was the lone Triple Threat Talk representative.
33%.
Yeah,
33.3% Triple Threat Talk.
So, a couple things that happened.
And when you guys see Big B leaning in forward like that, he's checking the time on the camera before he knows we're coming up to a break.
Which I have the clock.
We have the clock
right
so
here. He doesn't have to.
He doesn't have to do that.
So he doesn't.
3D.
I think he does it for pure enjoyment. He wants all the women out there to get an up close look at Kevin.
I mean, come on, do that again. Come on, look at this face. Come on,
come on,
do it. There's Kevin Steen right there.
Yes. All right. So Rob Terry comes out addressing comments made by Crimson that Spade made Crimson do what he did at Saturday Night Special because Spade is intimidated by Terry. I'm confused.
Crimson's not. Crimson's a weasel.
He is a weasel. So basically, Johnny Spade said you need to check yourself before you wreck yourself. Go talk to Crimson. He screwed you. It wasn't me. He's got it in your head because you're supposedly palsy.
And Crimson was not there. So.
No. Jason Wayne took on Randy Royal with cheese and won via submission.
He did an arm bar.
Which was funny because before the match, Jason Wayne said, if it wasn't for me, there'd be no Memorial Day.
No 4th of July.
No Labor Day.
No Veterans Day.
No fireworks.
He's riding that horse pretty hard lately.
If it wasn't for Jason Wayne, there'd be no fireworks.
And I don't like that he's doing that. They're trying to make a veteran turn into a bad guy.
Yeah, I get doing coming.
I don't like that.
I think it's funny, but...
It's Tom Cruise and Born on the 4th of July all over again. Swag Nation.
Who? I think it's the version of the Primetime Players, honestly.
Took on the Mobile Homers, and the Mobile Homers won. No surprise there. Taylor Hendricks took on new femme fatale called December, which I was utterly confused at this because you have a femme fatale named December. She's dressed like a cheerleader, and she has pom-poms. Where do you get the name December?
Oh no, I didn't see it. I'm gonna have to look at this.
I get it. I don't get it. Anyway, thanks to the help of Heidi Lovelace, December upsets Taylor Hendricks.
Oh wait, Taylor Hendricks? No.
You can't pick two of them.
No.
Alex Silva took on Jamin Olavencia And Alex Silva picks up a big win. He won. Good stuff there. Rob Terry took on Jesse Godders and Johnny Spade in a triple threat match, and Rob Terry picked up the win there.
Yet again, the interview streak continues.
It does. So good stuff last week from OVW. Some very big stuff this week in OVW. You can always check them out at ovwrestling.com or go to Blip TV on Thursdays around 5 or 6. It's right around the same time this show gets uploaded. Usually. And you can check out this week's episode, or if you live in the regional area, you can check out WKYI channel 138 at 1 o'clock and 9 o'clock for all your OVW wrestling needs. And as always, we want to thank the fine folks at OVW, Frank Miller, Terry Bodie, Cheryl Conley, everybody involved. We can't thank you enough. Check out thefanadvocate.com for everything involved with the Fan Advocate and Terry Bodie. Check out our friend Brian Cannon at OVW Blogspot.com. Yes. So good stuff from the Brian Cannon there. And before we roll into WWE coverage and make our pick'ems for Night of Champions, we will take a commercial break, and we'll be right back right after these messages.
Whoa! Dad, where'd you get that?
Oh, you won't believe what just happened.
Don't tell me you got the last Diet Dew.
Yeah.
I love the taste of Diet Dew. What do you want for it? Deal.
Diet Mountain Dew. Yeah, it tastes that good.
Hey, Hotshot. Meter's running.
And we're back here on Triple Threat Talk. I misspoke before the break. I forgot we were rearranging the schedule. Big B and his schedule changes, so you can really want to pull my hair out, as you can see.
Let me guess.
You see what your schedule changes do to my hair?
Let me guess.
What?
I flip-flop worse than a politician.
Yes, you flip-flop worse than a politician. See what you did to my hair? It's because of you and why my hair is this way. It's like,
At least it comes every couple months.
Why don't we do this instead? Why don't we go over our pick'ems for Night of Champions, and then we'll cover Raw. All right, then we'll go into the Idiot of the Week, and then we'll cover Raw. Let's have a little bit of synchronicity here. I like that idea a little bit better.
Well, now you got me confused. Now I'm more confused.
So we're going to go into Night of Champions picks.
Then Amish girl.
And then we're going to do what you want to do. There's reasons we're doing this. Okay.
I'm more confused than an Amish girl on the period.
Whoa!
What the heck?
Alright, so in the WWE.com pre-show match, it's got so many names now, it's ridiculous. Number one contender to the U.S. champion, Antonio Cesaro. The number one contender, I guess, has not been named yet?
It's a battle royal.
Okay.
So, I'm actually gonna, I know that there's so many people you can pick from, but I'm leaning towards Heath Slater to possibly win this thing after all he's been through in the last couple of months with all the beatings he's been
taking. So they face Antonio Cesaro that night?
Yes, they do.
Oh, during the actual pay-per-view?
Yeah, like the pre-show, the WWE.com/YouTube, whatever. The battle royal takes place, and then after, you know. So.
Well, I'm going to take Antonio Cesaro and Antonio versus the Field.
Well, yeah, I'll pick Cesaro whoever wins.
Yes,
but I think I like Heath Slater to watch it win that.
I picked Cesaro versus the Field as well.
Yeah.
The Divas title, Layla versus Caitlyn.
There was speculation that Caitlyn was supposed to win this thing, and then there was like speculation she wasn't supposed to win the battle royal. The first was supposed to be Eve Torres. I'm gonna go with possibly Caitlyn, maybe because she's been feuding with Eve. I'm gonna go with Caitlyn for the win, and maybe she's gonna feud with Eve. So.
I'm gonna agree. They passed the championship throughout the women's division. That's no secret. They do that, so I'm gonna go with Caitlyn.
I go with Caitlyn as well. R-Truth and Kofi Kingston defend their titles against Kane and Daniel Bryan.
Jack Nicklaus and Adam Sandler.
Right. Anger management for sure. Anger management. Yeah.
I know. I got it. I got it.
I'm glad you got it.
I got it.
So it was supposed to be the Primetime Players originally to face Truth and Kingston, but obviously it didn't happen. I think they're liking what Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston. Daniel Bryan and Kane are doing right now with the anger management thing, and that's why I think they're in this match. I think they could win this thing. I think we see new champions here. Night of Champions.
Stealing my line from earlier, fella.
I agree. Kane and Daniel Bryan.
I agree too. Right. Okay, this is not a championship match. Why is it in Night of Champions?
Could be match of the night.
I don't get it. It's supposed to be every match is a title match. Doesn't make sense. I'm glad it's in there. Bonus match, whatever. Randy Orton, Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph.
I like Dolph a lot. I think he's very good. But I think since Orton's leaving to go film 12 rounds in a little while, I think they're going to send him off with a win. So I'm going to pick Orton in this one.
12 rounds, number 2?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. I'm going to disagree. I'm going to actually agree with who you usually pick here. I'm going to take Dolph Ziggler. They've got to put him, if they're going to make him be a serious threat for the championship, they got to put him over at a pay-per-view. Right. And I'm picking him. And also, if he does not win, I look for him to cash in.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I think he might cash in this time. I think he might cash in on the winner of the match after this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Orton wins and Dolph Ziggler might try to cash in. The Fatal 4-Way for the Intercontinental title. The Miz versus Cody Rhodes versus a couple of pedophiles.
Sin Cara. Come on, Sin Cara.
Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio.
The branding of this match kind of confuses me because Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio are a tag team, so I kind of cancel them out. So I pretty much just say it's Miz versus Cody Rhodes. I think the Miz keeps this title here. To be honest, I think Cody Rhodes' time as the Intercontinental Champion might be done for the time being. I think the Miz keeps the title for a little while longer. I like the Miz in this one.
I'm gonna say I agree with that, but for a different reason. I think the Miz is definitely gonna win. I think it's really gonna be more like the Miz versus Ray. I think Cody and Sin Cara are gonna distract each other.
Mask thing,
yeah, so I'm gonna pick the Miz.
Right.
I think they could deem this match a 4 guys on a bar stool match, and it would work out.
Right.
I think the Miz retains. I mean, this is kind of one of those. Hey, let's throw it together. Let's throw it at the wall and see if it sticks. Mm-hmm. The Miz wins. Yeah. The World Heavyweight Title match. Sheamus defends his title for the umpteenth dozen time against Alberto Del Rio.
I'm only picking this person because I'm banking on Dolph Ziggler to cash in. So I'm going to say Del Rio wins and then Ziggler cashes in. So.
I'm going to say Sheamus wins, and like I said earlier, it depends on what happens in this match, but I wouldn't be surprised if Dolph Ziggler wins. Cashes in.
I'm going with Stephen Farley.
Hey.
Farley. I mean Sheamus.
Okay.
For the WWE Championship.
This is a big one.
CM Skunk against John Cena.
Thank you, Justin Roberts.
You're welcome.
Everything in this match seems like to point towards John Cena. Punk's at the top for 300 plus days. John Cena's in his hometown of Boston. But I'm thinking the branding of CM Punk and Paul Heyman affects this match big time. I think the fact they put Heyman and Punk together means Punk's got big things coming.
No, did you just watch it Monday? Did you not see what he did to Paul Heyman on Monday?
No, what did he do?
Well, then you need to go back and watch the tape.
So
you're welcome.
But I'm only going to go with this person because it's in their hometown. I pick John Cena.
I'm going with CM Punk.
I go with John Cena. Punk's had the title for a long
It's in his hometown too, which is a big fan.
He's had it for a long time.
Right.
If we remember last year, Night of Champions was in Chicago, and who won that match?
The Money in the Bank was in
Money in the Bank, and CM Punk won that match. Roles are reversed here. I think Cena walks out the WWE champ.
This doesn't mean anything, but Cena is on the poster. So.
And now a little bit early, because obviously you guys know what we're going to cover Raw last, our takes on what happened, but they want to get into Idiot of the Week, which I think you named for us,
yes,
didn't you?
Idiot of the Week.
And I agree with it.
Yes, this is ridiculous. Okay, so obviously this past week we all know was the, this is crazy, it's 11 years to the day, this past Tuesday was 9/11.
Can't believe it.
So every news station airs their thing, CNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, whatever, Fox, whatever. So, NBC, instead of airing the moment of silence for the victims of 9/11, which is supposed to take place around 8:48 a.m., around 8:46, it's around that time, 8:45. Everyone airs it, CBS, ABC, Fox, CNBC, all the news affiliates. So instead of airing the time it's supposed to air it, they interview Kim Kardashian's mother, Kris Jenner, talking about her breast augmentation. Like, I really care about that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, so stupid subject.
Like I said, every morning show took the appropriate action and observed the moment of silence at the appropriate time for the World Trade Center, the thing 11 years ago. NBC pointed out, this makes them even look worse. They pointed out that tonight had a lengthy interview with the World Trade Center survivor earlier on the show, and they did cover the annual moment of silence last year for the 10th anniversary, but they haven't done it in the past weeks, according to spokeswoman Megan Kopf, according to Yahoo News. And I don't like this at all. And there's like a video I watched earlier today. It's actually it's a video with 4 corners in it, and it shows CNBC, MSNBC, and CBS all doing the thing they're supposed to be doing at the time, and then left, the bottom corner shows them interviewing Kris Jenner. It looks very poor in the report. NBC got trashed on Twitter. This is not to mention the thing with the Olympics also. People are mad about that as well. This is total disrespect from them. I mean, yeah, they can say they give enough time to it, whatever, but bottom line is this is a day that, you know, you're supposed to reflect and remember what happened on that day. Everyone remembers what happened that tragic day 11 years ago. And the fact that NBC decides to air an interview with a reality star about her breast augmentation, like, who really cares?
Complete disrespect.
Who really cares? And then you say, we give enough time to this. Like, no, this is the day for that. You don't air anything else about that. I don't care what your producers say. I don't care what your directors say. That day is reserved for that. And the fact that you decided to interview about someone getting plastic surgery, who the hell cares?
Yeah.
NBC just completely just alienated fans of theirs. They look bad in the faces of the media, social media. NBC,
they got crucified.
I mean, I'd call you idiot of the week. You're just, I don't even want to say it. You're just an idiot.
Before we officially name him an idiot, I gotta say,
you're an idiot.
When GE when General Electric ran NBC, which they sold it off in recent years, you didn't see this happening.
No.
You did not see this happening. It's definitely some poor management decisions at the head of NBC causing some of this stuff to go down. I can't agree with you more. I mean, it was just pathetic. People shaming them on I mean, not just saying, you know, what the heck's going on here, but shaming them, you know? How do you look at yourself in the mirror? If it was something else other than breast augmentation for Kris freaking Jenner, who cares?
Nobody.
You wouldn't even be famous if it wasn't for O.J. Simpson anyways.
Or your daughter.
Or your daughter. Well, no, that's why they're famous in the first place.
She got famous for her.
Or your husband.
Oh, yeah, your husband, really, but... If it wasn't even for that, you guys, no one would care about the Kardashian. Who gives a crap? I wish I could use a stronger word, but the fact it's a family show. Who honestly cares?
I like the fact that that's what they show, but I will say this, and it's going to sound totally horrible, and I don't mean it to, but to me, let it go a little bit, okay? We don't sit around and have a moment of silence on Pearl Harbor Day. We don't sit around and have a moment of silence on the day that they stormed the beaches of Normandy. We don't sit around and have a moment of silence the day that, you know, World War II ended. We don't, you know, I get that. It's a day to recognize, I understand, but we have to move on.
But there are differences.
There is a day to reflect. I realize it was probably the biggest tragedy in American history.
That's right.
It is.
It is. I understand that. But... you know, when is enough? And I've heard a lot of people say this too. A lot of people that are total supporters of, yes, we should reflect, we should remember, we should never forget, and I totally agree. But I think a way to show that, hey, we're the United States, we're stronger than ever. Keep things normal. Like if it was a normal day, yeah, I realize that moment in time, yeah, they shouldn't maybe not have been showing what they were showing, but. You know, make it normal life, like what we would do on a normal day, like as if that never happened. What would they show at 8:48 a.m. on news? You know, that morning would it be the weather? Would it be this? You know, and I'm not saying it to be mean. I'm not saying it to be unpatriotic. I'm just saying if we want to show that we've moved on, if we want to show, you know, live a normal life. That's what America is. It's about, you know, growing and prosperity. It's about, you know,
to a point. I agree with you because I think they shove it down your throats a little bit too much.
They do. I think they do.
But to counter it, you know, you can try to forget that,
right?
But you just can't forget
that.
Regardless, I mean, I knew where I was. I bet you know you were. I bet you know where you were when that happened.
I mean, I know exactly where I was to the T.
So I mean, and it's not just for us, but people that are affected in that thing will never forget that day for the rest of their lives. People lost loved ones, and they'll never forget.
There were families wiped off the face of the earth.
I agree with you to a point. It is shoved down our throats a lot on that day, but at the same time.
We shouldn't forget.
The day is never going to be forgotten.
We should not forget.
I don't care if it's 10 years, 15 years, 100 years.
I should never forget that.
I totally disagree with, and I know it's like 11 years later and people say they want it to be shown, but the documentaries and the stuff that they show on like National Geographic and the History Channel, where they're showing people jumping out. Don't show that.
No, you don't show that. I agree with that. 100%.
I don't want to see that.
And the thing,
people sit and watch that. I'm like,
I agree with that 110% because I don't like people that like watch it. Like, why do you want to
watch it over and
why do you want to relive the attacks again?
Like National Geographic and History Channel, the whole day, that's all you see. It's like this person's view of where they were at, what happened. This person's view, and then they show the planes over and over. And I'm like, enough, enough.
Like, I like Tom Hanks as an actor, and I like the people that were in that movie extremely loud and incredibly close. But it's the same thing. It's the same, and they do movies like this all the time. And it's like, you know, you want to forget the incident, but you want to remember the people that day. That's what the remembrance is for.
That's what they're remembering.
Not remembering the planes in the towers. You don't want to see that. And that's what I don't like. They show it constantly. Like, we lived it. We saw it happen. And don't want to see it again.
And the bastards that did it paid for it. He's dead. He got shot in the head, which, you know.
The fact of the matter is, though, 3,000 innocent people, over 3,000 innocent people were taken from the earth needlessly that day.
Right.
And I definitely think that does hinder a moment of silence, because that's just a sad time.
Right.
I mean, to a point, like we said, I think we both agree to a point.
Right.
But at the same time,
I'm not doubting that. I'm not doubting that at all. I'm just saying, you know, let's let go a little bit.
Exactly.
Just a little bit.
Right.
But officially, take it away.
Well, actually, we're getting close to the break here. So,
well, I mean, name them and then.
Oh, sorry. NBC, your early Triple Threat Talk, Idiot of the Week. So
with that, we'll continue Raw after this.
Hey, Nick Dinsmore here. Do you have the dream of becoming a pro wrestler? Well, I did, and I came to Ohio Valley Wrestling. Join the Nick Dinsmore Pro Wrestling class today. I'm a former WWE superstar. I'm a former 9-time Ohio Valley Wrestling heavyweight champion, and I can train you to be the best today. For all the information regarding the Nick Dinsmore Pro Wrestling class, go to obwrestling.com and click on school. Join the Nick Dinsmore Pro Wrestling class today. obwrestling.com, click on school.
And welcome back to Triple Threat Talk.
Welcome back.
So we had some events happen on Raw, and I think that's why Big B really made a strong push for us to end with Raw.
Yeah. I do want to say one thing before I get into the other bigger topic. Well, actually, it kind of falls within the two. Raw really didn't matter to me after a certain point. I think I know where you're going with this. I mean, I'm sure everyone that's watching the show knows exactly what happened with Jerry Lawler. He had a heart attack. He passed out at the table, the commentary table, and you look at it and like, you may not think this is the right way to say it, but he was really lucky. It happened where it happened because the medical staff was right there with him. There was a hospital within 15 minutes of the arena, which is very lucky for him. And I want to commend the professionalism of the WWE to a certain point where Michael Cole was very respectable. McMahon was very respectable about what he was telling Michael Cole to say on the air. I was going to say the last thing they showed was Cena and Punk and Bret Hart in the last promo, which was very, very good. I don't know how they handled themselves in that moment, but they did a very good job.
I'll say this, like you said, the way they handled themselves, to be able to cut, I mean, that was a fantastic promo. Who would have thought, I mean, obviously he's who he is, but to pull a French cut on Punk through all that happened, to be able to execute that as flawlessly as they did, and to be able to perform the way they did was amazing.
That's why they're pros.
I mean, that just shows you right there, those guys are superstars. Those guys are,
they're it.
Yeah, they are it.
I mean, there's a bunch of, luckily now all the information we've received, Lawler is okay, he's breathing on his own. He had a CT scan on his brain. There's no brain damage, luckily. They figured to be brain damage because of all the oxygen he lost.
He was clinically dead for 20 minutes.
They were thinking that there was going to be brain damage because of the lack of oxygen to his brain, but luckily he's going to be okay. Hopefully he's going to make a full recovery. They're sending him home soon to Memphis is what last time I heard it. Mm-hmm. And I said this to you, we were talking on Skype during the Raw. After they made the announcement, I really couldn't care any less about
I couldn't watch it. It was weird. I'm sitting there telling Stephanie, and you on Skype, and you were Skyping during Raw, and I'm like, dude, I can't really watch this.
I know we joke all the time about me liking Cody Rhodes, but the match between Cody Rhodes and Mysterio when they fought, I couldn't care less about it. I was so disinterested in Raw at that point. I really couldn't watch it. I just felt like something more important was going on elsewhere. Right. And I felt myself not really paying attention to anything.
And you could tell in the wrestlers' faces and voices that they didn't want to be there. Right. They didn't want to do it anymore.
And the thing is, I have to commend the Primetime Pirates and Brian and Kane because that happened during that match. They could have easily just want to wrestle, what's going on over here? But they stay in the moment, which is very good by them. Like, McMahon always states, and I agree with to a certain point, show must go on. But in that situation, there was very serious matters going on.
To prove that, Owen Hart died and they kept the show.
Right, exactly. That was different, so.
The thing about that really impressed me with everybody involved in the tag team match going on at the time, they extended the match. They had to extend the match. Right. They were told to extend the match. Yeah, that match is bad. I know people are going to say, yeah, the match was bad toward the end.
Right.
But what are you going to do?
Exactly.
For that, I say you wipe out the fact that it was a bad match at the end, and you commend them for even trying to distract people from what was going on at the table. They definitely did a good job, and I think they'll all be rewarded in some way, shape, or form in the near future.
Right.
They deserve it for what they did. Yeah. They had a bad match on purpose to distract from what was going on, and that was very, very professional of them, putting everybody else ahead of themselves. And I definitely think that they deserve to be commended.
Yeah,
Dan O'Brien, Kane, and the Primetime Players for sure, and Kofi Kingston and R-Truth as well. Right. They all played a very good part in that match, and like I said, I'm not going to sit here and deny that it was a good or a bad match. The fact of the matter is, it did what it was trying to accomplish to do at the time, and that was to take eyes off of Jerry Lawler.
Right, exactly. And I commend Michael Cole also. He said in an interview, I guess it was news background, but when it happened, he muted his microphone and didn't want anyone hearing all the commotion, which is very commendable by him. I really gained a lot of respect for Michael Cole in that moment because he handled himself very well.
You can just see in his voice and his eyes and face that something was terrible.
Like, I know people don't like Michael Cole, but in that moment, he was as professional as you can get in that moment. So you know all the information about Jerry Lawler and our thoughts and prayers with him at this point in time with his family, and luckily he's all right. Luckily he's gonna make a full recovery. So I think that wraps up the show this week.
Yeah, no wild cards this week because of that.
No wild cards this week. So if you want to like us on Facebook, please do it at facebook.com/triplethreattalk. You can follow us on Twitter at triplethreattalk. You send any comment or question you have to triplethreattalk.com. And it's for Triple Threat Talk. This is Big B.
This is the Doctor.
It's PostMaster Jones.
Big B sign off. Jerry, our thoughts and prayers are with you. Get well, Jerry.